Meeting of the Oak Park City Council is called to order. Please stand for the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. City Clerk Norris, would you call the roll?
Mayor McClellan.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Edgar.
Here.
Councilmember Burns.
Here.
Councilmember Radner. Councilmember Whitehead.
Here.
We have a quorum. Thank you. I would like you to note on your agenda that we will be deleting item 15E and handling that at another meeting. We will be adding, after call to the council, a closed meeting to discuss pending litigation regarding Laurentian Village. Need a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
So moved.
A second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Consent agenda. These are items that are presented without discussion as a single item. Any council member can ask to have one removed from the blanket approval. And I would like to move 5C down to be looked at separately. 5A, regular city council meeting minutes of June 5th, 2023. B, payment application number 2 for the 2022 sewer and catch basin cleaning and TV inspection project, M747, to Deutsche Environmental of Warren for $96,252.01. My. Item C will be discussed separately. D, payment application number 2 in the amount of $5,000 to Instaform Technology of Chesterfield, Missouri for the 2022 sewer lining project. And E, licenses new and renewals submitted for June 30th, 2023. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
And a second. Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. And then let's look at C, payment application number 1 for sewer lining. Is there a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. I wonder if we could call up Director DeCoster. Just curious, after all this time of lining sewers, how much of our sewers about are lined, and what is the cost per mile for lining?
Good evening, Mayor, Council, City Manager Tungate. So we've lined in the city, I would estimate between 35 and 45% of our sewers. We try to focus on those sewers that are in rear yard drains where this trenchless technology is best suited. So we can go in and line a sewer without having to dig up all the fences and things. The engineering department does a great job of inspecting the sewers beforehand. They clean and televise the sewers, and those with the most amount of faults and that qualify for sewer lining, we will perform sewer lining in. With regards to the cost per mile, I would say the average cost would be between $400,000 and $450,000 per sewer mile. That's just for lining. There are a lot of ones or other incidental costs that come with that, but the sewer lining itself is probably $400,000 to $450,000.
Digging it up and putting it back in.
Yeah, there's a lot, like I said, there's a lot of other things, cutting in laterals and the sewer prep that comes with it, but that's the gist of it.
Thank you. You have been diligently, aggressively cleaning and televising, certainly for the last 12 years. And I think you're prioritizing, you said rear yard sewers will all be done next year.
Correct. The engineering department is, like I said, they look at all the sewers in a rotation around the city. So every 5 years, we clean and televise every sewer in the city, which I think we can probably say we're more aggressive than any other community, probably in Michigan. We are in these sewers so often, that's why we don't have sewer backups, we don't have collapses at the fault of the city. But that being said, in looking at the rear yard sewer specifically, those are what this trenchless technology is great for, because we can line a sewer in a rear yard without having to dig up somebody's maybe shed that may or may not be placed legally. All the fence lines, any trees, any vegetation, utility poles, and things like that. The engineering department has gone through, and they're just about done with lining all those rear yard sewers. It depends on what part of the city you're in. Some may have a city sewer out in the street. Some may have it in the back of their lots where the two properties meet in the back of the lot. So we focus on those rear yard sewers to make sure they're taken care of.
Just curious, were the ones placed in the backyard older? Not necessarily.
I don't know that offhand. I would hate
Yeah.
to answer
No.
and give you wrong information.
Okay, great job. Thank you so much. It's steady maintenance is why we're doing so well, I think.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time. Any questions?
Do you let residents know if you're going to be lining the sewer pipe in the backyard?
Correct. So we leave door hangers. We put it out on the internet and put it out on Facebook and things when we're doing projects. But most specifically, those fully impacted by a sewer lining will, at a minimum, get a door hanger on their door, asking them to minimize water use during that time and explain the project.
Great.
Nice, great job. Thank you. All those in favor of item C, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. We have the great honor of presenting our esteemed Senator Mallory McMurrow, who is going to give us an update. She famously stood up against lies and other things with a lot of courage, and was nationally noticed for that. So we're real proud to introduce her.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you, Mayor. Oh, thank you. Very warm welcome. Mayor, members of council, great to meet you. For those who are new to me, I'm State Senator Mallory McMurrow. I am in my 5th year in the Senate in my 2nd term, and was blessed, thanks to redistricting, to now have Oak Park as a part of my district. So first of all, thank you for the grace. I wanted to be here much sooner, but we have been very, very busy in Lansing, and I am also mom of a 2-year-old whose bedtime is 7 p.m. So shout out to my husband, who is at home putting her down so that I could be here. I am thrilled to also be the Senate Majority Whip, so a huge part of my job in leadership is keeping everybody in line, which, as you can imagine, is sometimes a challenge. Some updates that I wanted to share. We just hired our new district liaison. She started today. Her name is Ernestine Lyons. She was in Lansing doing orientation, but you will see her much more frequently being out in the community, especially as we head towards our summer in district period in July and August. So we are planning community events, town halls, and something that we started during COVID that I've really taken to love, which we call precinct potlucks. We were looking for a safe way to meet when we still couldn't do indoor events, so we started finding somebody who lives in a precinct. They volunteered either their backyard or their driveway. We would canvass the neighborhood and send out flyers saying, come meet your state senator on next Thursday at 6 p.m. And we got a great turnout. And a lot of people who normally wouldn't come to coffee hours and town halls, so we're looking forward to getting those back out in the summer. We're really excited about it, so we will make sure to keep everybody posted for attendance. Wanted to provide just a couple of quick updates that I think would be important for the community. Number one, the budget. We are hopefully, knock on wood, days away from finalizing the state budget for the next fiscal year. And I have been working very diligently on your behalf, advocating for the new community space. Hopefully, I will have some good news to share, but please know that I was just on the phone with our Senate Appropriations Chair within the last 24 hours, making sure they knew how important this project was. So more to come, but we will share full budget details as soon as we have it, as soon as it passes out of both chambers and heads to the governor's desk. Something of note, we passed legislation a few years ago Although the state requires that the budget be finished by October 1st, we passed legislation to finish the budget by July 1st, knowing that a lot of our school districts plan their budget process beginning in July. I like to say that we had good intentions and then COVID-19 hit. So we hadn't hit that date yet over the past few years, but we are on track to hit that date for the first time this year, which I am really excited about. Something also note, the hands-free driving law goes into effect on June 30th. And for the record, what that means is that it will no longer be legal to hold a cell phone in your hands while driving. Michigan has long had a ban on texting and driving, but that law has not been updated. So it is not currently illegal to drive down the street watching YouTube videos. I drive to Lansing and back 3 days a week, and I have been T-boned, nearly T-boned, too many times to count. So you can still use your phone while driving, just use your voice command, or if you're plugging in a map, plug it in ahead of time. I just spoke to General Motors, who is going to work with us to provide some free clips for people who may not have the in-dash infotainment systems. So once we get a hold of those, we'll make sure that we connect with the city to give those out to people. We want to make this as accessible as possible, knowing that not everybody has a car that has a built-in infotainment system. So if you clip your phone to your dash, you're going to be good to go. Other things to share. Thank you to the city manager for attending our quarterly meetings that we host in our office. They've been really, really successful throughout my district. We host quarterly mayor city manager meetings, as well as quarterly police and fire meetings, just to get a touch base on what's happening throughout our district. As you can imagine, a lot of the communities that I share have similar concerns and similar issues, so it really helps me best advocate for everybody. And an issue that I am working tirelessly on at the moment, although it has been the bane of my existence since I started in office, is the noise along Woodward Avenue. It is something that is a unique challenge because Woodward is a state highway, so we know that current state law prohibits local municipalities enacting anything that goes beyond state law, so we're working with MDOT on some potential solutions there, because we know that I used to live right behind Trader Joe's in Royal Oak, so I know very, very well how loud it can get, and it seems like Dream Cruise season has just expanded over the past few years. Finally, Prop 2. So in the 2022 election, voters voted by a 60% margin to expand access to the ballot, including 9 days of early voting. We have to implement that via state law. So we have passed out a number of bills through the Elections and Ethics Committee, which I also serve on, to implement that. Really huge thanks to all of the local clerks, the municipal clerks, the county clerks who have worked tirelessly with us in the Secretary of State's office to implement this law. The law will also require that postage be provided for anybody who chooses to vote absentee. I know Oakland County had already done this, but this wasn't the case statewide. So a lot more news to come. It's really exciting that we're moving forward to make voting easier and more secure, making sure we have standardized drop boxes, and we'll be in touch as that news progresses as well. And with that, I would be happy to take any questions, but please know that my door is always open. Please reach out anytime. And as I said, I'm really excited that we have a new district liaison who you will meet as we're back in the community very soon.
Wonderful. Any questions?
Any update from our friends at My Pillow?
I'm sorry?
Any update from our friends at My Pillow?
Oh my goodness, what a great question. Any updates from our friends at My Pillow? No, they have not responded, believe it or not. But man, it was so, I'm going to segue a little bit. My old district for the first 4 years included Rochester Hills, and Tina Barton, who was the city clerk of Rochester Hills. She and I are very good friends. She's a Republican, I'm a Democrat, and having gone through the experience of Rochester Hills being thrust into all of the election conspiracies was a journey for both of us. So we are looking forward to putting facts out there. It's actually been really fascinating throughout our elections and ethics committees as we've been implementing Prop 2. There have been some advocates who are with Stand Up Michigan and some other groups who really wanted to oppose all the bills, but then they heard us talking through all of them and how the elections process works. And while they may not outwardly support, it was really good to hear the woman representing that organization say she learned a lot and learned how secure our elections are.
Nice work.
Thank you.
talk a little bit about the 9 days of early voting? That's in-person voting, correct?
Correct. Yeah, so this is a change right now. We, in 2018, as you all well know, passed no reason absentee voting. So any voter right now can access an absentee ballot and vote, no reason absentee. 9 days of early voting, some of our clerks have already done this in a version where you can come into your clerk's office, request an absentee ballot, and turn it in. This will be slightly different in that it guarantees 9 days of early in-person voting for those who choose to access it. And you will no longer need to request an absentee ballot. You will actually get an election day ballot across those 9 days of early voting. And it will allow for those votes to begin to be tabulated. That's legislation that we just took up today. This is something the clerks have been asking for years, is to start to tabulate those ballots so that we do not see what we saw in the 2020 election. If you see a lot of ballots and people voted absentee, time leads to doubt. So we want to follow in the footsteps of states like Florida, which allow for tabulation of absentee ballots and early voting ballots as they come in, although the results per state law still have to be secured.
And more people are voting absentee because it is so convenient.
More and more people are voting absentee, and one thing that we did work with the clerks all across the state, we have a densely populated suburban community here, but there's rural areas that have very, very small precincts. So we worked with our clerks across the state to allow for counties or multiple municipalities to have a joint early voting site should they so choose. So more to come on that, but I think something that's going to be the task of all of us is letting all of our voters know where their early voting site is, should they choose to vote early.
Amazing. Any further questions? Thank you so much for coming in, and we are all looking forward to the potlucks.
Thank you very much. Me too. There's lots of snacks. People like them. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we have a special recognition presentation. City Manager Eric Tunger.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of council, and members of the public. I have the honor and privilege this evening of honoring Robert Barrett, who is here. Rob, if you could please come on up to the podium. Let me just say a couple of words about Rob. Rob is retiring. And Rob began his career here at the City of Oak Park in February of 1996. He moved all the way up from an engineering tech to the director of the Department of Municipal Services. And over the years, Rob was involved and spearheaded some of the city's most important projects and initiatives that included the very building we're sitting in right now, which Rob was one of the members, key members of our team who managed the construction of this building $1 million under budget. He also was instrumental, and these are just a few of the main projects that Rob has been involved in, but he was instrumental in the identification of water bill issues back in 2012 when I first came for commercial water users throughout the city. And the settlements of those outstanding water bills resulted in approximately $1.5 million in new revenue to the Water and Sewer Fund, saving our taxpayers, and this is how we avoided having to pass on a water and sewer rate increase a few years. He also created the city's first and continuing city rental inspection program and beefed up our code and building department services. These changes have allowed us to be more expeditiously deal with code enforcement issues and, of course, do building plan reviews. And for our city, we know that with all these economic development projects we've had, that's very key. Rob has spearheaded all of that. So he's been a staple in our community. And while I am sad to see him go, I know, and I know he knows, that the city today is on much more solid footing than it was as a result of his years of service and all of his efforts. And Rob, on behalf of the entire city, I just want to say thank you for all that you've done and best wishes for the future in your retirement. Thank you.
If you might, I do have a couple thank yous to say and a brief follow-up. And
Do you have any parting shots?
Parting shots.
Still want to sit next to you at the dinners.
It's important to thank some people on my next adventure. Some of you never met Dan Fitzpatrick or Mike McReynolds or Steve Kanowski, but when I first started in 1996, they were the management team that hired me and had belief in me, and I just gotta thank them to start with, because that's the beginning of all this. During my career, I served 5 city managers, 2 directors, 2 mayors, and dozens of city council members, all of whom supported and promoted me through the years. Thank you. I was uniquely promoted director by 2 city managers, Rick Fox and then Eric formalized the promotion and promoted me to director. I learned a great deal from both these managers from 2 different extremes of economic times. During Rick Fox's tenure, times were hard. We suffered layoffs, pay cuts, but we still managed to serve the residents. During Eric's tenure, we faced some difficult hardships, but things got better, and I learned a lot from Eric, especially his desire in emphasizing economic development, public safety, and as he mentioned, code enforcement. We were right on the same page. I especially appreciate Eric, and will never forget the great compassion Eric had during my sad, tough times with my parents. Thank you, Eric. Though he's never a city manager, I need to thank Kevin Yee for being my great mentor, my champion, and one of my best friends. We may have disagreed at times, but he's always had sound advice and great friendship. Thanks, Yee. He's not here, but thank him. It's not just your superiors that can affect you. Many residents, co-workers, friends had a positive influence on me. I've said it many times, Team TMP, now MS, is Team Awesome. They're compassionate, they're hardworking, and they make me very proud. It's sad to leave them. There is some saving grace in that they are being led by Kim, Dan, and Kara. They're a great team, and they won't skip a beat. I can carry on forever because I have cherished my 27 years here. I've met many friends. Some of my best friends are here. David, and Crystal, and others. And I wish, and Kim, and a whole lot more. Lastly, I want to thank my family, especially my dearly departed mom and dad, for raising me to become who I am today. I've been blessed. I believe that this great city will continue to grow and prosper. Keep up the great work. You've been a wonderful team to work with. Thank you, Eric, Mayor, and Council. Thanks for everything, everybody. I shall miss Oak Park.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Council members, I'd like to do a photo with Rob, if you wouldn't mind joining me.
Hey, Rob, you're still my favorite dinner partner.
You're not really leaving, right?
Look at this.
Oh, boy. At least there's no other pictures. Oh, wait.
We'll play.
You hold this, Mayor, if you want. Stand on that side. I'll stand on this side.
We're centering us over the
It's all good.
seal. These are important things.
Here we go.
Rob has some sayings that he works by, and I'm hoping he's going to leave a whole list of them for us to make large signs for. Something, is it reasonable, is it fair? Is that one of them? Reasonable and consistent.
We got Barrettism. We got Barrettisms.
Barrett-isms.
We
Yes,
got Barrettisms.
that's right. And we will make signs out of those. You're going to leave those, I'm hoping. And we will make signs so they will live on in the department. Rob Barrett had an amazing way with people, making them feel respected and listened to. Very, very knowledgeable in all of this, and great people skills, which is hard to find in one person. So he is a gem and a half. Thank you. Won't be the same. He's the one that bought me the Mad Mayor beer. I don't know, one of a kind. Next, we have special licenses. Item 10, request for special event license and waiver of fee submitted by East Oak Park Block Neighborhood Association, 24040 Geneva, for a neighborhood party held in Best Park, July 22nd. A motion to approve the request.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
This is a B, 10B is a request for special event license and waiver of fee by Oak Park Library for a summer reading celebration to be held August 6, 2023, for all who are in the wonderful reading program. Is there a motion to approve this request?
So moved.
Thank you. And second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Number 11, accounting reports, approval for payment of invoices submitted by Garen Lucal Miller PC for legal services in the amount of $13,333.49. Councilman Radner, do I hear you?
Yes, I'll make the motion. I'll second.
Because?
Well, because I wanted Sean to second it, and that way we could do this together.
Okay then, there you go.
Lawyers must get paid.
That's right. Okay. He's a lawyer, if you don't know, right? Okay, thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Burns,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Edgar,
Yes.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes.
Councilmember Radner.
Yes.
Councilmember Whitehead.
Yes.
Okay, motion carried. Next, approval for payment of an invoice submitted by Schiffman Fournier for legal services retainer for July 1st to September 30th in the total amount of $18,000. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Second. Roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Edgar,
Yes.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes.
Councilmember Radner.
Yes.
Councilmember Whitehead.
Yes.
Councilmember Burns.
Yes.
Motion carried, thank you. We have no bids, but we do have ordinances. First, let's get the motion, and then we'll have the discussion. Approving the first reading of an ordinance to amend Article 2, Division 2, Residential Districts, Article 2, Division 3, Commercial Mixed-Use Office Districts, Article 2, Division 4, Industrial Districts, Article 5, Division 4, Special Land Use, of Appendix A, zoning of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Oak Park, Michigan. The proposed amendments incorporated clarifications, additions, or deletions to specific sections of zoning to support sustainable growth of the community, as well as be consistent with state and federal laws and regulations. We need a motion and a second.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Can someone, who would like to speak to this?
Good evening, Madam Mayor and Council. The amendment that you have before you this evening is specifically limited to a special land use and educational districts that would provide the ability of private preschools to be built in the residential districts and R1 and R2 districts subject to the special land use requirements. This is limited to private preschools because the city is prohibited from regulating public schools.
Okay. Are there any questions?
I know that there's a proposed project on the site. Where is it exactly?
Is that 10 Mile?
Pertaining to item 13B, so that will relate to the next one, but your practice is on 10 Mile Road.
15-110 10 Mile.
Right, okay. So we just want to rezone to enable this preschool to be built?
That's correct.
Yes.
Okay, are we have a motion and a second? City Clerk? Yes, okay. Ready to vote? Roll call, please.
Mayor McClellan,
Yes?
Councilmember Radner,
Yes.
Councilmember Whitehead,
Yes.
Councilmember Burns,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Edgar.
Yes.
Passed. Item B, first reading of an ordinance to amend Article 2, Division 1, Section 201, and the official zoning map contained therein, being part of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Oak Park, Michigan, by changing the use district of certain parcels of land currently zoned RM2, multi-family residential district, to R1, single-family residential district. The amendment changes the zoning from RM2, multi-family residential, to R1, single-family residential district for 15110 West 10 Mile Road. First, can we have a motion and a second?
So moved?
Second.
Thank you. Then an explanation back to our attorney.
This amendment pertains to the property at 15110 West 10 Mile Road, and it will be amended from an R2 district, which is multifamily residential, to an R1 single-family residential district in order to effectuate the construction of a new private preschool.
Okay, are there questions? Roll call, please.
Councilmember Radner,
Yes.
Councilmember Whitehead,
Yes.
Councilmember Burns,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Edgar,
Yes.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes. The zoning things sound boring, but they are the kinds of things that allowed us to build a restaurant district on 11 Mile Road. It changes the character of the city for the better, and thank you. And it's a good thing to go through these. I think when I took over, nobody had looked at them or changed them for many, many, many decades. So it's wonderful that we are updating them. The city manager has already spoken. The city attorney has already spoken. We're now with City Manager Eric Tungate.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of council. 15A, I would like to ask Deputy City Manager, Community Services, Crystal Van Vleck, to join me at the podium. Before she goes, though, I would like to take this opportunity to just say, and I'm sure some of you were going to say this as well, but I do think it's important that I say it. Thank you, Lori Stasiak, the Recreation Team, Public Safety, Crystal, DPW, I'm Communications, I'm forgetting people, and I don't do that on purpose, but the event last weekend was fantastic. I don't recommend riding the zero gravity ride. I tried to do that. Didn't go well. There's a whole story there at some point I'll talk about. Got some battle wounds from that, but the event went great, and I just, again, want to thank you, Lori, especially you and your team and Crystal, for all of your hard work and effort involved in that great weekend. With that said, 15A, Deputy City Manager Crystal Van Vleck.
Good evening, and I echo what Eric said. Everyone put in.
Holler it out.
It's on. Can you not hear me? Hello.
There we go.
Just lean in. Good now? Okay. I just wanted to echo what the city manager said, though. Everyone put in hours of hard work over the weekend, and I think the community really appreciated it. Tonight, I have for you a resolution in support of an application to the MEDC Revitalization and Placemaking Grant 2.0. The city has prepared a sub-grant application with Main Street, Oakland County, to apply for the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, or MEDC Revitalization and Placemaking Grant. This grant will assist in revitalizing the Water Tower Social District and creating additional public gathering spaces. The project also includes adding green infrastructure, electric car charging stations, signage, art, and public amenities. The city conducted a visioning session to get input from the community, neighboring residents, and business owners. The final design took their input into consideration. The Water Tower Social District parking areas are in the CIP, and the grant will reduce the cost to neighboring businesses and the city if we receive it. It's recommended that City Council approve the resolution to apply for the sub-grant with Main Street Oakland County for the MEDC Revitalization and Placemaking Grant.
Okay, before we get a motion, a sub-grant is when more than one city is applying?
Yes, so Main Street Oakland County is applying, and they've asked us to apply under their umbrella.
First, we need a motion to approve this wonderful thing.
So moved.
Second.
And second, discussion or questions?
I think we should do it.
Sorry?
I think we should do it.
Yeah, I think we should win it.
Do you know how much it is, what we're applying for?
Yes, so we're applying for $1 million. We're applying with the county, and $1 million from the RAP grant would go towards our project, and it would also be matched by the county in the amount of around $600,000. So we would get overall a little over $1.6 million if we get the grant.
Let's think long and hard about this one, guys.
Well,
Can I say something?
Yes.
Crystal, I remember when you were first hired. And you've come a long way, especially writing the grants.
Oh, thank you.
Especially writing the grants.
Thank you. I do have to say, I am up here in Kim Maroney's stead right now. She wrote most of this grant.
She's great, too.
Yes. She's wonderful, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Kim is good,
But thank you, I
just
appreciate it.
remember when you started, that was one of the first things that I noticed. You were writing the grants, and then we received them.
Yeah.
We try. We really do.
I want to just echo what Councilmember Burns just said. That's absolutely the case, and for other members of our staff as well. I do want to clarify, so we cannot do the projects that Crystal just outlined unless we receive the grant. And even if we do get the grant, we're still going to have to special assess a pretty sizable chunk of the cost to those business owners immediately in that vicinity. So it's not perfect, but if we get it, and we think there's a good chance we might, we can see some pretty dramatic improvements in that immediate area over there.
It would be another amazing place to gather. Another that will bring us from all over Oak Park and have a place we can be proud of, with games and fire pits and landscaping and green infrastructure and electric vehicle charging and parklets, totally revitalizing sort of a tired-looking parking lot that we have right now.
Well, is this grant gonna go towards the repavement of the parking lot?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I know that's a very expensive project.
Yes, yeah, a large part of the cost for the project are around just replacing the concrete.
Right, and then we're still gonna assess the businesses, though.
Correct.
Do we know how much if we get this grant?
Yes, so we do have an estimate. We have it broken down by business owner as well. And it is still, to Eric's point, a sizable amount. We've had some discussions that would have to be ironed out about how we would special assess and over what period of time to help the business owners. I know if Kim were up here, she would probably remind everyone that they do have a public parking lot. So there are costs that they don't expend on an annual basis that other business owners would to upkeep their own parking lot. So we snow plow, we keep up the parking lot, we do everything. So they don't incur those costs on an annual basis. And this project not only gives them a new parking lot with better concrete, but also really enhances the area, adds placemaking elements that would really take this area to another level. We're already doing some really wonderful, the businesses in coordination with some of our departments as well as the Corridor Improvement Authority are doing some really cool things out there that drive people to the area. This would only increase that and ultimately help out the businesses, I think, much more than even just a normal parking lot revitalization project would.
Yes.
I just want to add one more thing to that. Yes, absolutely. I want to just second all of that. I do want to also clarify that the parking lot, and believe me, I'm the first one to not want to spend any money to do anything. But the parking lot is not currently ADA compliant. If you've noticed out there, there's those big humps as you're, driving and walking that we tried to shave down, but some of those are not ADA compliant. There's plenty of areas over there, some of which are right below the water tower or nearby there that are just breaking apart.
Deteriorating.
That concrete we estimated over there is what, 40 years, was it? 40 years old. And the useful life is what, Kara, about 30, is it, for concrete? 30 years? So we far exceeded our useful life for the concrete that was poured there. So we've gotten our money's worth out of it. So there's that element too. There's all of the placemaking stuff, but then there's just the practical, it just needs to be done element here too. And I think that's the approach, and not trying to, thrust all these costs onto those business owners, because we recognize this district is in its infancy. We don't want to, lambaste them. But we wanted to apply for the grant, go out here and ask them for a special assessment, which obviously still has to come in front of you folks for approval, but in an amount that we thought would be, that they could handle. And quite a few of them actually, over the last, several sessions of meetings, have said that they would be in support of the amounts that we've talked about. There have been a few that haven't, but most of them have
I think
said
for the most part,
that they would support the amounts that we've had in question here. So,
And this
Very
is
good.
probably the best chance that we have this grant is probably the best chance that we have of completing that project at the lowest cost to the business owners. The Corridor Improvement Authority also voted today for a large matching of that grant as well, to further alleviate the cost to the business owners.
The purpose of the Corridor Improvement Authority is to improve the business areas that are in the corridor, 9 Mile, Coolidge, and 11 Mile. This is on 11 Mile, and that's our purpose. And when we started, I think our first yearly income was $135, which isn't going to buy you much more than postage stamps. But now we're able to provide $335,000 or more to improve this area that will make it just a regional draw. So now we need a motion to approve this grant.
So, I thought we did.
Yes, didn't we?
We have it?
We already have that.
Got
Just
it.
need to make a vote.
Roll call vote.
Councilmember Whitehead.
Yes.
Councilmember Burns.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Edgar.
Yes.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes.
Councilmember Radner.
Yes.
Yes. We like this kind of news.
okay, well, more to come on that. 15B, I would like to ask our city engineer, Kara Grissomer, to join me at the podium, please.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, council members, city manager. The Oakland County Board of Commissioners approved our application for funding under the 2023 Local Road Improvement Program, or LRIP. So this is for economic development of our community, and having poor roads diminishes the quality of life for residents and for business owners. So we applied for these funds to use as part of the current 9 Mile Road resurfacing project, M740 between Clover Lawn and Pinecrest. We also agree as part of this grant to fund non-eligible costs, administration, coordination, permit fees, and the like. And we recommend that you approve the resolution to support accepting the matching funds.
Do we have a motion?
So moved?
Second.
Okay, discussion
Nope, you see it every day on 9 Mile.
on 9 Mile.
Yes.
Yeah, I've
So
gotta
we
go
are
down there. I have
using-
to take a field trip down to 9 Mile Road.
Let's go. Let's get in the car.
Yeah.
Before we vote.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Wow. Wonderful. Motion carried. Thank you.
Okay, 15C, city engineer, Kara Grissomer.
All right, we have pay application number 3 and change order number 2 for the 2021 sidewalk replacement program, M713 by Georgie Concrete. This project is 100% complete. The change order is a positive change order because we covered a little bit extra. When we did the punch list, there was some concrete that needed replacing, new concrete that needed replacing, but it was not the fault of the contractor. It was external forces dropped, say, a tree limb or something, shattered some slabs, and they brought the case to us that they would replace the concrete if we would pay for it. So we do have a positive change order of $656.26.
Motion to approve this payment application.
So moved.
And
Second.
change order. Okay, roll call, please.
Councilmember Burns,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Edgar.
Yes.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes.
Councilmember Radner.
Yes.
Councilmember Whitehead.
Yes.
Motion carried, thank you.
Okay, 15D, City Engineer Kara Grissomer, please.
All right. This is a change order number 2 for the 2023 water main and road replacement project, M750. It is not accompanied by a pay application. This is a change order only. I wanted to get this before council because it was a rather urgent matter. We found that a sewer manhole on Sherman Avenue contained a water main pipe, and so we wanted to reroute that immediately. They did complete the rerouting today, but because of the size of the change order of just under $50,000, we wanted to present it to council as well.
Motion to approve the change order.
So moved.
you.
Second, why was it,
Question,
Why?
Councilmember Burns.
yeah, why was it rerouted? You said because it was on Main Street?
Yes, so in the street, we had a sewer manhole that was for the backyard drains on either side, parallel to Kenwood. Running north and south on Sherman was our water main, and for some reason, they decided to either construct the manhole over top of the water main or the water main through the manhole. We're not quite sure which. Actually, I believe it is they constructed the water main through the manhole on purpose.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Madam Mayor.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to clarify something else on this one, too. So as this was going on, and Kara had mentioned some of the work was started today. So I wanted to just clarify. So I thought this item would have risen to the emergency purchase standards that I'm allowed under the city charter. But because of the timing of the council meeting, here we are, and it's the same day. So just wanted to clarify that,
Wonderful.
because I think it was that significant to, if we had to do emergency purchase and push it through, so.
Right. Well then, roll call then.
Mayor Pro Tem Edgar.
Yes.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes.
Councilmember Radner.
Yes.
Councilmember Whitehead.
Yes.
Councilmember Burns.
Yes.
Motion carried, and we're skipping E and going to F.
Okay, so I would like to call our Deputy Finance Director, Josh Johnson, to the podium for his premier agenda item. 15F,
Thank you.
please, sir.
Thank you, City Manager, and good evening, Mayor and City Council. It's my first time up here, so I'm happy to be here. Yes, I have the fourth quarter budget amendments for you here for the fiscal year 22-23. It's coming to a close. This amendment has no net impact on the general fund balance, and there's a couple notable items for you to know about. There's some increases in self-funded healthcare costs that are greater or less than anticipated. There is some increase in state grant revenue for public safety training. There is some increase in salaries and fringes for mid-year wage increase in fringe benefits. And there are some reductions in wages and fringes due to some position vacancies. I would just like to ask for approval of the resolution to this budget amendment for the final year.
Okay,
Any
do we have a
questions?
motion to that effect?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Questions about the budget?
You're doing a great job so far.
Thank you,
We're
Radner.
gonna go easy on you. It's your first time.
You don't have to.
Next time, we're gonna go hard on you.
I'm all for it.
That's cute. No questions.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we have a motion to approve the budget amendments. Do we need a roll call?
Yes. Mayor McClellan.
Yes.
Councilmember Radner.
Yes.
Councilmember Whitehead.
Yes.
Councilmember Burns.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Edgar.
Yes.
Okay, so 15G, I would like to call up our grant applying extraordinaire employee,
Not her first
Crystal
time.
Van Vleck.
Good evening again. Right now I have for you a request to support the city's application for the Spark grant application. It's a resolution of support. In the strategic plan, City Council listed identifying the best uses for city property to ensure access to quality public spaces and fostering social interaction and a sense of ownership at all the city's public spaces as top priorities. In addition, our Parks and Recreation Master Plan lists address the need for facilities to better relate to the needs and interests of Oak Park's diverse community and secure assets for the city for the future as a main priority. The Oak Park Event Hub will help us in accomplishing all of these things. We have been actively seeking grants for this project through a variety of avenues. Actually, if Senator McMorrow were here, I would thank her for pushing it through at the state level. Her and several others are pushing it through the state level. We also have a request that's still hopefully holding strong at the federal level for funding as well. So we are actively looking for any funding revenue streams that we can. The Michigan Spark Grant is just one of them. We're requesting a grant of $1 million from the Spark Grant Program. Matching funds in the amount of $3 million have been budgeted in the Parks and Recreation Fund between fiscal years 24 and 25 and 25-26. It is recommended that City Council approve a resolution in support of the city's application for the Spark Grant.
Okay, first we need a motion.
So
and a
moved.
second. Thank you. What is a Spark grant and what amenities are we talking about?
So we're referring to the event hub that we've been discussing in the vacant area that sits between City Hall and the library. So in the Recreation Master Plan, one of the things that was called out, a few things were called out, that more event space was needed, that we needed a four-season structure for our farmers market. That gives us the ability to hold our farmers market year-long. We're also proposing a commercial kitchen in the space, which Lori and her team have already received a grant for from the county. We actually have 2 grants from the county already for this project. But it would include a farmer's market space that's 4 seasons, which can be used for other things as well as renting it out to the public for events. It includes an amphitheater, or a band shell as we like to call it, and then also amenities within the park itself. Amenities like a memorial garden, seating, walkways. So it would really be, we're calling it an event hub because it would really be a place where cultural programming can happen. We can expand some of the programming that we just don't currently have the space for. And again, our farmers market and the programs that go along with that, which Lori and her team have some great ideas for how to expand that programming for our community. Things that they've been really wanting to do for years now, and they just don't have the space or the resources or just the amenities to be able to do them.
Amazing.
And council members, I just want to add to that. So I had a conversation with Haley Stevens today, which she's trying to get our federal grant pushed through the federal budget. And I think there's a pretty good chance, it looks like. So when you add all of this up, and then you add, as we've discussed, some of the money that we could potentially roll into this, I think about this time next year, if all goes the way we hope, we could be looking at possibly breaking ground on this event hub next door here.
Right?
Yes.
Next door.
Yeah, that's what it's building towards, and there's some, we're gonna know, as the senator just mentioned, we're gonna know soon with the state grant applications, but the federal applications as well. So there's a lot of things in the pipeline right now. And if they all come together, or 3/4 of them come together, we're gonna be in good shape, so.
Yes, if they all come together.
Don't forget the new bathrooms.
Yeah.
Those are,
Not in lieu of.
I need
If
to
it
speak
all-
to that, as a separate project, but those are
Always
totally
in the
separate,
back
but
of my
those are
mind.
being done. Dave's here to, if you wanna give an update on that. He does.
I do want to mention, if all of our funding requests go through, it will be a majority grant and outside funding.
That was gonna be my question.
Yeah.
Because the price tag that we've put on this is about 8 million, right? For the event hub and the memorial garden and all the other amenities.
Correct.
So if we have if we get these grants and we have these matching funds, I mean, the city, we could possibly just be in for that amount, the 3 million?
Correct.
Are you confident?
I'm more confident actually today after hearing from our senator and Eric's conversation earlier.
I would just, in my response to that, just talking to Haley Stevens and her staff today, I would say I'm also more confident than I was. I think that kind of project for both the state and federal government especially is kind of right in the sweet spot for the kinds of things they like to earmark for. So, I think there's a good chance we're going to probably get about 75% of the funds or more. And then, the more we raise from other sources, the less we have to spend of our own, so.
Right. Fantastic.
And every time someone says the word recreation, I think of bathroom. It doesn't matter what project.
Right. We got you covered.
Dave, do you want to speak to
Finally.
that?
No, I don't need it. It's in the works.
Because the joke is that our bathrooms in Shepherd Park have been not fabulous. And we would like to upgrade them into normal, like you get everywhere.
Not fabulous.
So
Oh, but can
we
I-
deserve it.
But I just want to say that the bathrooms that we're talking about, I mean, the Shepherd Park Shelter 1 bathrooms are going to be redone by the county as part of our agreement with them. But we're talking about additional bathrooms in Shepherd Park that will be almost adjacent to Shelter 2. And we are in the process of these, I promise you. We've got this going, it's in the budget, we're ready to get this thing going. I'm not going to put Dave back on the spot, but soon we'll have a better update for you on where things stand with that.
Thank you.
All right. Does that end your?
That ends it, yes, we need to.
Number
Thank you.
H.
Oh, we vote?
No.
We need to vote.
Where-
Do we need a vote? No, no, well, we-
Oh, the dog park.
Well, we need to vote on the
Yeah,
previous
we,
one.
Oh,
yeah, we
gotta
have to
vote.
vote on this first.
Okay. We have a roll
All the
call.
dog park.
Councilmember Radner.
Yes.
Councilmember Whitehead.
Yes.
Councilmember Burns.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Edgar.
Yes.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes, motion carried. Finally, dog park.
Okay, 15H, I am going to have Lori come up and speak to this one, but I do want to just say this, this is, council members, this has been a labor of love. This is going to come to you in a couple of different phases. Tonight is the fee schedule phase. There are going to be some guidelines that Lori and her team and the dog park committee have worked out that we want you to at least lay eyes on. So that part of this will come at a later point. But for now, we're just talking about what the fees are going to be for the usage of the park. So
Right.
Lori, take it away.
Okay, good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, City Council, City Manager Tungate. The dog park is scheduled to open in the near future. The Recreation Department recommends the following fee structure for memberships. $40 for residents, non-residents, $65. Tag and replacement tags are at $10 per dog, and replacement fobs at $20, one per household. It is recommended that the City Council approve the membership fees for the new dog park as proposed.
Okay, is there a motion to accept the fee schedule?
So moved.
Second.
Second, wonderful. Are we leaving it only to Oak Park residents?
Yes, the dog park discussed it at great length, great depth, and proposed to allow only residents to be the first to use the dog park and get used to the park, the rules, the procedures, keeping in mind that our goal is for a fun but safe environment for everyone. So it was discussed to only allow residents to start with, and then maybe in the near future, 6 months to a year, depending on the usage, allowing non-residents to participate.
If there's room.
Mhm.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah, Madam Mayor, if I
Question.
may, I think
Yes.
it would depend completely on usage. If we're completely
Filled up.
buried and full with Oak Park residents, then obviously we gotta keep it closed, but if not, we can certainly open it up to our neighbors. And I
Absolutely.
see that there's a little bit of an extra fee for them, and that's perfectly reasonable and normal and common. And one more thing, I mean, thank you to you and your staff for this work. It's really, really nicely done. But we have a brand new rookie member on council who just joined us 4 years ago, and this became her baby, or her puppy, so to speak.
Yeah.
And she did a really great job with this dog park, working with the committees, working with council, and getting it done. So nice job.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good.
It's been fun.
It's been fun. And I think
Love.
people have been asking me about a
Labor of love.
dog park for 12 years. And we're going to have one, and it will be state-of-the-art.
It really will be.
All thanks to Kirby. That's her dog.
For dogs. That's cute. And there's a little section for little dogs, so your guy can come.
My dog is covered too.
Max. He'll just walk over there by himself.
Do we need a roll call for this?
Councilmember Whitehead.
Yes.
Councilmember Burns.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Edgar.
Yes.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes,
Councilmember Radner.
Yes.
motion
Thank
carried.
you.
Thank you.
Okay, Madam Mayor, members of council, that completes the city manager report for this evening. Thank you.
It's wonderful. Next, we have call to the audience. Anybody who wanted to talk, did you get a card from Carol in the back?
I have one.
You have one. You want to call?
Edward Howard.
Yeah. Thank you, welcome.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Edward Howard. I live at 21630 Kipling, and I've been there since 1978. Since this is a G-rated council meeting, I can't say what I feel about the deer, because people in my block, they take pride in putting their flowers out and having gardens, only for the deer come by to eat them up. And it seems like there's no end to it. Second, still having problem speeding up and down North End. Just got that repaved last year, and they'd be running 60, 70, 80 miles per hour. I don't know if they can just put a police car there with no police on it. Would that help? But the kids are out of school now. You got some young kids in the block, and if they cross the street and somebody speeding, there's no way they can stop. So something needs to be done there.
Thank you. Thank you. We made a note of that, and we'll look into public safety.
Yeah.
Thank you for reporting.
Yeah, then you said well, not the last meeting, but last time I mentioned about the deer, you said you were gonna look into it. Have you?
Yeah.
Yes, and it's crazy. I just agree with you. There are a ton of deer in our community, and actually throughout all of Oakland County, really. I live close by too, and they're all over the place. They're just being moved from different areas that have been developed, really, into the neighborhoods. But the behavior of some of these deer, yeah, it's not good. And so we're closely monitoring it. I need to go back out again. This midsummer probably we'll go back out again and check it back out, but yeah. Don't disagree with you.
What
There's
about
nothing, yeah, it's a very difficult situation to deal with, because to actually get to the point where, we're gonna call deer is, a pretty serious situation. And I don't think it's there yet. I know communities that have done that, it's been even worse, believe it or not. But I can just tell you, I agree with Mr. Howard. I've been out there, and some of the behavior of these animals I never imagined in my wildest dreams I would have seen in person. But
anything the DNR can do about it?
we contacted them, and they kind of laughed at us, to be honest with you, because their response is, well, yeah, they're deer, that's nature, and leave them be. But again, if it continues to go on like this, I think at some point we are going to probably have to do something.
Yeah, because I have rain, and deer be come through at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and the rain go off. It's just like an alarm.
I do have to tell a quick story about a deer. So I personally went up to one of the bucks and stomped my foot thinking the deer would run off, as they would. The deer did not run off. He stomped his foot back at me and was going to charge me, and I ran.
Yeah.
So, and then I also personally witnessed a deer eating the flowers right off of someone's front porch, literally just right in their front yard. So I've never seen that kind of behavior.
Aggressive and assaultive deer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we hear you. We're monitoring it. Please keep us posted.
I
When
will.
I taught in Rochester Hills, there was an area like ours on 8 Mile Road that had been open, and they developed it, and the deer moved right into the subdivision and would sit up and eat the impatiens out of the hanging baskets on the porch. So it's got to be something that we can do as a region, because individual cities, I don't think, have any options.
I know in Royal Oak, I know this is a big debate going on, same debate right now, because it's the same thing.
So
They're
what
just-
are the options?
That's a good question.
Yeah,
There's very few,
Some
because,
municipalities are saying, let's let people hunt them.
You're
I
right.
don't think Oak Park should be a hunting city.
no, we're not. And there are very few options. And again, to get to the point where we're actually organizing a deer call is a very serious situation, and really a public safety thing. So, we've had public safety instances where, you know, we've had to take deer down in roadways and things like this. So it's getting there, but we're closely monitoring it. So I just wanted Mr. Howard to know that we're listening, because I saw it with my own eyes. I lived it. It's crazy. Never seen anything like it.
Is there any option for putting out feed that keeps the deer from procreating?
If you want to kill all the other pets and birds and everything else in the neighborhood, yeah, but I don't think that's poisoning is not a
No, I
good.
don't mean poisoning.
you know.
just,
Isn't there like some kind of repellent, like some sort of like blood? that
They
you-
say there is, you know, when you're seeing deer behave, I'm not a deer expert by any stretch of imagination, but when you're seeing the behavior that I witnessed and that Mr. Howard's talking about, I don't know that that's going to have any impact.
And it's cougar urine or something, and you have to put it out every time you water and every time it rains and all of this. It's not,
And it's gotta smell like cougar urine.
yes. That's true.
I don't
We're
want to.
exploring. We know it's a problem, and we're exploring solutions. Thank you. Any other cards?
Crystal Bailey?
We can't discuss campaigns here?
Oh, that I'm running for city council.
Sorry?
You said I can't say that?
Cannot discuss campaigns in a
Oh.
city council meeting,
Okay, okay.
We can't either.
and we can't either.
Okay, well, I'm Crystal Bailey. I'm happy to see some people in here, and I am on the Juneteenth committee for the City of Oak Park Subcommittee. And we had a great Juneteenth event that I'm really excited about. It was good. It was in conjunction with Summer Blast, which was very exciting. The Recreation Department did an amazing job, and we kind of piggybacked off of the festivities of the carnival and had a fashion show that was great, and I have some designers that was a part of it, if you've seen it. The designers were Fat Cat Collections. Mustafa is on Avenue of Fashions and his garments, and he's a designer and a business owner. His business is African Fabric and Fashions. So that was really exciting. And the kid designer, she was also there, and she modeled her clothing with the kids. So that was really exciting. Walk Fashion Show provided the models. I also was happy to see Senator McMorrow. I'm in gun violence of Michigan, and we organized a gun lock giveaway together, so that was exciting to see her. I did that for East Oak Park and East Oak Park and Ferndale schools. So that was really exciting. Now, I did want to ask about, excuse me, the master plan, the recreational master plan. It sounds like an amazing plan for the city. However, will that, even in conjunction with the grant, will that raise our taxes here in the city? Like, how will we offset the cost that we don't have to have this master plan that we have? But again, I'm Crystal Bailey, and Election Day is November 7th. Thank you.
Okay, call to council? Oh, do we do call to council and then closed session? Yeah. So, we would like to congratulate all who were in charge of Summer Blast and Juneteenth. It was a labor of love. People came and had a fabulous time. Our council member, Whitehead, looked at the tapes that were celebrations in other cities, and they say if you don't blow your own horn, nobody's going to blow it for you. Ours was the best in the county. So bravo to all who contributed, and it was a lot of fun, a lot of pride, and can't wait for next year. Bravo. Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem.
Well, I want to echo that sentiment. I thought it was a wonderful event, beautiful day, beautiful crowd, just a great vibe. And I also want to commend Councilman Whitehead for spearheading this and making it happen. It was a great show. It could have gone on. It was interesting and compelling, and it was just a wonderful event. So, good job. Now I hope you're getting some sleep that you probably need. And I just wanted to say that the dog park is progressing. We're still waiting on a couple of crucial bits like fob system so that people can get in and out of the park. But everything else is falling into place. We've got signage, benches, etc. And very exciting. It's gonna, I think, really enliven that part of the city as well. So thank you for coming out tonight.
Isn't there a water source too for the dogs?
We've got a water source, and that's the city's gonna handle that. We'll have a place for dogs and humans to drink.
Right, and if you're wondering what's taking so long, it's like what everybody says. Everything you order takes 8 times as long as they promise. You can't get things. And that's what's holding up the parade on this one. Great job on the dog park. Councilmember Whitehead managed to orchestrate this event, and 2 weeks before his wife had given birth to twin boys. So he's balancing a full-time job, this huge event, and twins at home, and they weren't getting a lot of sleep. You know how that goes. So thank you. Councilmember Burns.
Thank you everyone for coming out. I love to see the audience with our residents, so thank you for coming out. Take care, that's right, take you away. And also, like, the dog park was Julie's labor of love. Juneteenth is Sean Whitehead's labor of love.
Yeah.
He created that the very same, he started putting it in the works the very same year he was elected.
First year.
So
Yeah.
kudos, on the very first June he was here, we had a Juneteenth. So thank you very much, very much. It is greatly appreciated. Thank you to the Recreation Department. I echo the sentiments that everyone had in regards to the Summerfest, but we always have great events because we have great people.
Amen.
And we have great residents who attend. And it looks like each year more and more people are coming out. So hopefully it'll stay that way. Thank you, everybody.
Councilmember Radner.
Good night, everyone.
Councilmember Whitehead.
Could you say that to Duke and Jordan? Because I don't think they know what good night is. Yeah.
They were sleeping real well during the event.
They sleep during the day. It's night that's the problem. All right. Director Barrett, I want to thank him. He was somebody that was instrumental and put his arm around me and took me under his wing from the city administration side when I first came in. So just over 2 decades, or I think almost going on like 25 years here, 27 years here, just remarkable, incredible. This very building, I mean, instrumental part. So I would be remiss if I didn't say that. Juneteenth, we had almost 100 performers, 16 different scholarships. We had 9 different vendor tables. With the twins at home, I am a little tired. So, but Juneteenth was amazing. I could not have done this without our subcommittee. It was to see a successful program like Juneteenth happen in this community. I shared with the subcommittee. I couldn't have asked for a better first Father's Day, to be honest. Just thinking about the future and seeing the community that my boys are in, it's just incredible. And I couldn't do it without my wife, to be honest. So she's there watching the twins right now. So people ask me how I do it, and it's having a good wife at home. But I just in a good family that supported us through everything we've been through. And this committee, through the month of May, my family was in the hospital for 27 days. As our kids were in the NICU, and the committee just stepped up, kept the ball moving down the field. Our chair, Carla Wallace, our former chair, Juanita Bell, our co-chair, Lonnie Tab Upshaw, just all of these staples and pillars in our community on the arts and culture and the recreation board, just completely couldn't have done it without them. And this was bigger and better. It really was. Juneteenth, I saw a lot of things on different social media, and I mean, we got some good neighboring cities, but Oak Park, from what I saw, and a lot of our representatives went to the Juneteenths all across town over the weekend, but Oak Park, we had one of the best, if not the best, Oakland County Juneteenth, and I would probably challenge, if I looked at some more tapes, the whole state, I mean, to be honest, because it just was incredible. The band took us out, Oak Park band took us out. We had Southfield Orchestra, so it's not like it's just all in-house. We have our neighboring cities help us out. Just dance teams. We had a one-man mime performance ministry. And then all of our dignitaries that came out. We mentioned Haley Stevens, our congresswoman. I mean, she rocked the crowd again for the second year in a row. And then we had our council out, our mayor out. Councilman Radner was so generous to bring popsicles and keep everybody cool during a hot day. Our walk was amazing, so I could go on and on and on, but Juneteenth we're bigger and better this year, so thanks for the city for supporting us.
Bravo, bravo. Thank you. We need a motion to go into closed session to discuss pending litigation regarding Laurentian Village.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Burr,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Edgar.
Yes.
Mayor McClellan.
Yes.
Councilmember Radner.
Yes.
Councilmember Weidman.
Yes.
second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No? There being no further business,